Welcome to the Cedar Log. I'm Kyle, your host, here with Pat Lynch, your 2021-2022 Lodge Chief. Welcome, Pat.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
All right, so I think we should just jump right into the questions. So let's start off. What's your hometown? Where are you from?
So my hometown is North Wales, PA.
Have you lived there your entire life?
I lived a little bit in Hatfield, I think for about a year or two, and then we moved over to North Wales where I am now. So, yeah.
So I think a lot of people know you in scouting, but I kind of want to hear more about what you do out of scouting. What are some of the things you enjoy, your hobbies?
Yeah, so some of my hobbies outside of scouting, definitely hanging out with friends. I do have a pretty close group with a lot of the high school kids, so I enjoy doing that. Out of all my hobbies, I definitely enjoy riding my motorcycle with family and friends. I know a few people are worried about the motorcycle, but I have fun with it. I enjoy the ride, and I did play water polo for my high school team. We were very lucky to make it to state champs, so that was very fun. I had an exciting team with the water polo team. Definitely a lot of memories that I would never forget, and I like to do rugby as well for my high school. So, yeah, those are kind of the things I enjoy outside of scouting.
I think you can't leave us hanging. You got to tell us, what kind of motorcycle do you have?
It is a 2007 Suzuki Boulevard. So it's not a cross rocket. So it's a cruising bike. It's very comfortable. So I enjoy it. I love it.
I'm very jealous. I'm not going to lie here. Someone who doesn't have a car or anything to get around besides like an electric bicycle. Yeah, I'm jealous.
I would definitely pick the motorcycle over the car any day.
So what about your scouting career? When did you start scouting?
So I started scouting in kindergarten in 2010. I joined Pack 152, and a few years later, I later crossed into Troop 152 of West Point. And just a shout out to John Bickle, past Lodge Chief and Eagle Scout of Troop 152 as well. So
that's a pretty big shout out to someone that's like really well known.
Yes. So,
that's how you get the views. You got to shout out those people who are like really well known, and they're like, "Come watch this video,"
Yep. So he's a alumni from 152 as well. So,
I mean, well, clearly you have a very extensive scouting history. So you got to tell us. There's got to be some embarrassing story throughout your times, like something that you have never shared with anyone that you want to just make public right now.
I was thinking about this one all day. So the one that is most recent that I could actually remember fully was in 2021, the summer, when I went to Philmont for the National Council of Chiefs. We were hiking back from Lover's Leap, and it started to rain pretty hard. And my phone was in my pocket and was getting drenched because it was just pouring. So Eagle Scout me thought, I'll just throw it in my backpack. It'll be fine. And we got off the mountain. I opened up my backpack, and there was about an inch of water. And, of course, my phone was laying down, so it was just completely soaked. And it's kind of embarrassing because I should have known better. So
you have one of those, like, waterproof phones, or?
It was waterproof. I didn't know that at the time, but one of those things. You're an Eagle Scout. You should know that water backpacks are not always waterproof. So,
I mean, for someone like me, like my phone, when I look at it now, it's just like completely just shattered the front of it. I had like a hole in the bottom of the glass. So if that happened to me, I know I'd be like done.
I mean, this isn't the second time. I do remember now that I just thought about it. In 2019. I was working at Rescue as a lifeguard and forgot my phone was in my pocket. And I just started walking in the pool and, phone went under. So.
We had someone do that this past summer where they dropped their phone in and you just saw them just dive right in head first for their phone, fully clothed. It was great, It's the best feeling when your phone is just in water,
People will do anything for their phone.
Yeah, I can't blame you. I do the same. What about your OA career, Well, when did you join the OA? And, what was your ordeal like as well on top of that, Where'd you take it?
I joined the Order of the Arrow in the summer of 2016. I was doing Troop 1, and obviously it was at Resca. So it was definitely, my ordeal was an experience I'll definitely never forget. I was very lucky to do my ordeal alongside with my brother Liam, who's one of our current vice chiefs for lodge. So I was definitely confused during the call out and pre-ordeal ceremony, but I knew at the time I was selected, but I didn't know what was expected of me. So I kind of just listened carefully to the ceremony list, as I knew we would have to perform different tasks throughout the day or throughout the next morning. So I slept outside in the field, right, alone from everyone. And when I woke up the next morning, I couldn't find my brother Liam. I don't know where he went. I'm like, oh, maybe he's just using the bathroom. So I used it too. Still couldn't find him. So I was like, oh, maybe he walked back as I was walking in. Well, that wasn't the case. I had later found out that day that he actually had gone to the hospital. A June beetle had flown into his ear. So he was a trooper, fighting all day. Definitely sore and really pushed me to continue working harder, just as hard as he was. So we went through the day side by side. I helped him, he helped me, and it really showed what the ordeal is like for a candidate. So I will never forget the smile on his face when we both received our ordeal sashes, and we were very lucky to have our dad up there as well to join us. So it was definitely an experience I will never forget.
I feel so bad for anyone wearing like headphones or earbuds right now, picturing a bug going into your ear. That's uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable.
It was
I don't even have earbuds in.
Penny, and it was in there for about a week because, as you all know, Pocono Medical is not a good hospital. So they said
Pocono Medical is not the best hospital.
So they said there was nothing in there. Well, they were wrong. So
I think it's also important to know for anyone who's not part of Cradle Liberty who hasn't been to Resca. Resca is one of those camps that does the Order of the Arrow ceremonies and stuff in your ordeal at camp throughout the week if you want to do that. So if that sounds weird to anyone, you're right. It is weird. No one else I know does it. It's one of those fun things. So after you got into the OA in your ordeal, what was it like transitioning into a position? Did you start out with like a chapter chief position, or did you jump into a committee chair, or what happened with that?
So I didn't really know what the OA really had to offer. So I started out just at the chapter level. I think that's where kind of most people start off at if they want to eventually get into leadership. So I started out as a chapter chief in 2017. So I picked it up starting in the new year. And my first activation event was spring service of 2017. So that was an awesome experience. I was just a general member. So I kind of got to experience what it was without doing my ordeal. And I had a blast. You know what I mean? You're allowed to talk, you're allowed to eat regular food, and you're still making that friendships. And the biggest event that I had so far was the Jamboree in 2017 when we did the OA Service Day. So all the OA members went out to the different towns in West Virginia and gave back to the community. So that's where I first got active.
And what was that chapter position again?
I was the General Nash chapter chief.
Yeah. So were you just that for 1 year, then move on to like a committee?
Yes. Yep. So I was the chapter chief in 2017. And then I got engaged with the LEC, and I started off as the Brotherhood chair from 2018 through 2019. And then in 2019 to 2020, I ran for first vice chief. I ran for vice chief, and I got first vice chief. So that was in 2020. And then in 2021, I was very fortunate to run for lodge chief and be the 2021 Unami lodge chief to current chief as well for a second term. So
moving into that position of a chapter chief to like LEC member, for anyone who doesn't know, that's our lodge executive committee. What's that like? Going from just like this big leap of like your small chapter to like the entire lodge and working with so many more people.
It was definitely a little confusing at first, but it's kind of once you start talking to people, you'll fit in right in. You'll fit right in easily. And there's always people who've been on the LEC a lot longer that kind of take the younger new members in and help them out along the way. And that's kind of was for me. I don't really know names, but a lot of people, they knew that you were new and they wanted to help you out. So that's kind of what it was. Little confusing because, as you said, the chapter is really, you have like 8 people at a meeting compared to 30, 40 at an LEC. So,
So what about your path to Lodge Chief? You've done this. You're doing this twice now. This is your second year.
yes.
You're going to NOAC and all that, I guess, right?
Yes, I am. I'm excited.
Yeah, representing Unami and all that. What's got you to this position of wanting to be Lodge Chief, and how did you want to decide you wanted to do this? Was there someone in your life who was like, you should do this? It's really cool, or did you kind of look at other people and say, I want to be there? When I'm later in my OA career.
So yeah, it all honestly started with the first vice chief. It was 2019. I had gotten the nomination at Spring Service 2, and then was running at Fall Fellowship. So I really thought from Spring Service 2 to Fall Fellowship, all right, this is a great opportunity to further my leadership experience. And once in a while, I would write down some things I would want to include in a speech. And it really, the motivation was just to maybe serve the airmen in the lodge and wanting to do more, kind of like challenge myself. So that's kind of what drove me to want to be chief. But at the same time, it was kind of, I just want to be chief, right? Everyone wants to be chief. But then once you have that reality talk with someone, they ask you, what do you want to do? And you just tell them, I want to be chief. Well, that's cool, but like, what do you want to do for the lodge? So once that hit, it was a big wake-up call and reality flash that being lodge chief is not the easiest thing, but it's also very rewarding in the end. And that's when I kind of was like, all right, it's game time. It's time to come up with what you want to do with the lodge. Because as you said, I'm the face of the lodge, right? I'm there to support people, but it's also, I have to lead them so that they can all look good as the lodge as well. So it was definitely a lot of questions to myself, like, is this something that I can do? And overall, I think it was just from all the support that made me want to do it.
So following on you, being a lodge chief, not only once but twice. If I'm not mistaken, it was John Bickle, the only other lodge chief to run for more than one term and get it. He went 3 terms, I believe, right?
Right, John Bickle did.
And now you're the second person in Unami history to get a second term, right?
I believe that is right. You guys, so I'll take that.
So what's it like being a 2-term chief? Something that's obviously extremely rare in our history. Do you think it's changing you as a person? Running these 2 terms and being a 2-term chief, and does it change your outlook of your future, of how much you want to be involved in scouting maybe after this term?
So definitely, my first term, it definitely really showed me how important OA and this lodge was to me. And I definitely had a lot of energy going into 2021. And I didn't want the energy carrying over to this year to go to waste. And it was a great opportunity to obviously serve for a second year, serving all the members in the lodge. And again, I didn't want the energy to go to waste. I learned a lot my first year and thought that, my first year was great, but let me make my second year even better for the lodge. So that was kind of just the mindset going into it.
So when looking at, this is your second year, obviously, looking into this and then looking back at your first year, how do you think the lodge did? Did you think we really improved, after coming off such a harsh year of 2020 and, the early start of 2021 just being super harsh, not being like too considerate of, what all us youth want to do, and just, having issues with COVID and, all of that junk. What is that like,
So definitely, I cannot thank them enough. Definitely all the chairmen and advisors of 2021, they all did an amazing job. They truly, truly did. COVID was a hard year on us in 2020 and especially 2021. But once we came together, we were able to get things done. And I think that's truly the most important thing was, even though our world was a little crazy, it was the small things by coming together that really made us a stronger group. So, and again, it was just to the strong leadership, honestly, of the LEC and the chapters. It truly was. And I give all my credit to them. So.
Man, now you got to text each and every one of them and say, hey, I think, I shouted you out here. You better watch this for me like 8 times over.
Again, I'm the kind of guy that, everyone loves credit, but especially for me, once you get to this kind of position, I give it back to those. People might be like, you're the lodge chief. I'm like, I am, but you guys did all the work. I'm just here to lead you guys. So it's definitely, I give it back to all the chairmen and advisors, every single one of them.
Man, I think this next question is really funny. Then it kind of just backtracks on what you said of like giving the credit to other people. Yeah. What is your personal proudest accomplishment so far as chief? Whether that's a motion that passed or something, or maybe something someone said to you.
Definitely the proudest moment so far was definitely working with all the committees, helping them out with their goals. The proudest committee that I worked with was definitely membership, setting that membership goal. I know it was going to be a super high goal, but again, going back to the previous question, by working together, we were actually able to gain 200 members. And that really showed, listen, we're working together. We're doing this together. It's not just one person. We're one lodge. And a second one was definitely when we got back out to our in-person weekends, just seeing all the smiles on everyone's faces. I missed it. I know everyone else missed it. So just seeing the cheerfulness on everyone's faces, that was definitely a proud moment and definitely one of those rewarding moments as being a lodge chief.
So obviously, making people happy is a big goal. And, that should be every chief's goal going through every year, making these events as well as they could be. What's another vision, though, you have for the lodge in this upcoming 2022 year? Coming off, like I said earlier, COVID and moving into just a brand new year, who's, looking up actually, less COVID cases, and hopefully we're getting better and being more in person and being more with camp and friends and family. What's your vision, going into this year? Do you want to see more people at your events? Do you want to see more committees getting active, or just, more smiles in general?
Yep. So definitely the more smiles there are won't hurt anyone. Definitely going within 2022, hoping with COVID maybe lowering down a little bit more lower cases. We can actually get back to full-fledged events, which we are. Just sometimes with the protocols, we have to limit those numbers. And like I said, in 2021, there was so much energy. So hopefully we can bring that same energy over into 2022 and make this year even better than it was last year. And I think the biggest goals is definitely getting our brotherhood numbers up and our unit elections. I know the unit elections team this year is working very hard, and last year the team was working very hard as well. So definitely just let's try and get those numbers up, because ultimately we're not going to be youth for much longer. It's time to start reaching out to those younger generations to let them know, like, listen, it's going to be your time pretty soon to pick up the torch and light the way for everyone else. So, and just make our lodge open to everyone, make everyone feel welcomed. So I would say those are kind of the biggest goals, but there's always little ones that pop up during the year.
So like you just said, we're heading into that, what I like to call a transition period, where you're seeing all your older guys at the LEC, start to move their way out, go on with life, come to college, like myself, and, you're doing your own thing. So as a lodge chief, seeing that, and, being at the LEC for a couple of years now, what is it like seeing all these older members, these people you knew so well, start to move on with their own lives, do whatever they're going to do, move away, go to college, some join the military, whatever. What's it like seeing all these new faces and the old ones leaving?
It's a good thing with the new faces showing. That's never a bad thing in an organization when there's always new faces. That just shows that it's time to kind of move on, and it's time to focus more on the newer generations. I would hope that those getting older that are going off the way to college, obviously focus on your schooling and your life, but just know that Unami Lodge is always around the corner from wherever you go. and that we hope that you come back to future events. And I'm 18 now, so I still have 3 more years, but it's also, all right, what am I going to do after high school? Am I going to enlist in the military, do a couple semesters at college, and then enlist? It's going to hurt. It truly is. I will go a little more into detail. I actually did push back like basic training date to January next year because I truly wanted to finish out my lodge chief year. I didn't want to leave in June and not be back to finish my year out strong, and it hurts because I really don't want to walk away, but it's also that future generation that's going to have to step up to the plate and, like I said earlier, take the torch and start leading us in the right way. So just know that Unami Lodge is always here, and we hope to see you at events later down in the life. So
I'll admit, as someone who's off at college, it's almost like a homecoming when you go to camp and you see these faces and you're doing all this lodge stuff virtually. It's kind of it's like a own little corner that's everywhere you go. You're gonna meet someone who's part of the OA anywhere. Scouting. My best friend here at college, he's part of Scouts. He does OA, and it's kind of just just a great way to bind people together. And speaking of binding people together, you really don't move too far in the OA without looking at other people around you. And there's people in your life who give you that drive and passion. Is there someone just in particular that's been really special to you who's helped get you to this part of your life where you've been lodge chief for 2 years and you're still going strong?
So I can be here for hours naming everyone. So there's definitely many, many youth and many, many adults that I look up to. The youth would be the past lodge chiefs, whether they were still youth at the time or now adults. They were people I could really look up to, and they helped me, guide me along where I am today. Some of the advisors, right, they've been here for a while, so they know the ways. It's always something good to go to an advisor and talk to them before you go talk to another youth chair. So, like I said, I could be here all night picking all the names of the youth. But if I had to come to mind, definitely 3 that I would think of would be Aiden Campbell and Luke Syak. They were kind of in my age group for past lodge chiefs. I looked up to them and made sure that if I ever had questions, I would ask them right away. So I probably bothered them a lot and annoyed them, but I do really appreciate their support. Again, Michael Kaliagis was another big one. I would always call him, and their doors were always open. I could always go to them, and they could always help me out. So I definitely appreciate all their support over the years. And just getting into advisors, like I said earlier, Brotherhood Committee, I had fun. It was a blast. I got to work with an awesome advisor, Mr. Lewis. He kind of told me, it's your show, lead the way. And that's what I did. Of course, I had questions, but I was never scared to go to him. We had that kind of relationship. If I was confused about something, I could ask him right away. Mr. Kless and I both share a lot of things in common, but the one that comes to mind is we both started out brand new. I was a lodge chief in 2021. That was brand new to me. And he was a lodge advisor in 2021. Both brand new positions to us. So we got a strong bond and relationship together, and it kind of it made us tighter, right? It was both our first years, and we did everything together to help each other out. And I would say my last one that's definitely a little more personal is like my dad. I definitely look up to him and strive to be everything that he was and is. He's up early every weekend in the kitchen getting breakfast ready. Then he's out with the Brotherhood Committee all day working hard. And then he's up there at the ceremonial grounds supporting our new Brotherhood and Ordeal members. So just someone I definitely look up to. And I look up to all these people and everyone in the lodge, truly. So
I think it's great that you have so many people that you want to thank, you want to say, they're the people who've really kept you going. I think that's such a great thing to do, and show your love for these people who really deserve it. But when looking back at yourself too, looking at your past and, looking at the future and what will be your past soon, what do you want your legacy to be in the lodge? Are you trying to be one of those people who, did a lot of change? Or are you trying to be the person who, had so much fun that everyone just loved the events and seeing you? What do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to be remembered?
So I would definitely hope my legacy would be how myself and the lodge officers grew the membership during the pandemic. That was definitely a big thing. No credit should just go to me. That was definitely the officers. So I definitely, as a legacy, hope that would be all of us together. But when I was inducted as lodge chief, it was during COVID, and I definitely really wanted to increase our membership and create a plan so we stayed strong despite what was going around us. And we completed that goal, and it just, once again, it showed how well we worked together. So I would definitely say I hope that would be one of my legacies, increasing the lodge during a global pandemic. And most importantly, we stayed together. No one was alone during that year. And Unami Lodge 1, we were pushing through, thriving. And I would definitely say the biggest legacy that I would 100% would love to leave for myself is I challenge all those watching this now to continue on my legacy by stepping up and leading our lodge into the future and thriving just like I did these past 2 years. So if that's the one thing they leave from this video, I would hope they would continue on my legacy by moving the lodge in the right direction.
So when looking at something, as you as a lodge chief, something that, is very clear is that your brother Liam is one of your vice chiefs.
Correct.
And, maybe it's going to be also your legacy that, you had two brothers on the same LEC at the same time, being, a lodge chief and a vice chief.
Yes.
What's it like having your own brother as a vice chief? Personally, I don't work very well with my brother, but clearly you guys are working really well. What's that like?
So it's definitely, it's also another rewarding experience, right? There's not too many organizations out there that allow you to work with your siblings because there's always, they don't get along. Of course, we don't get along at home. That's the home life, right? I don't think I've ever met a sibling where they're like, yeah, I have the best relationship with my siblings at home. And they're lying to you. That's not true. But when it's time to get done work, we work extremely well together. And it's truly an honor to be able to work with him these past 3 years, starting in 2019 up to present. And we've done this from 2016 all the way together. So I definitely, once again, I won't forget that relationship that I'll have with him working as lodge officers together.
So on top of all of this OA stuff, you've also been a Resca Falls camp staff member like myself.
Yes.
You've worked there how many years now? Previously?
I did 3 years.
Uh-huh.
So 2017 and 2019.
Where'd you work?
In 2017, I was a CIT. So I bounced around to a lot of the different program areas. I was still currently working towards Eagle Scout. So I tried to work on the badges that I thought were, what's the right word, that I thought I would enjoy. So I definitely did a lot of merit badges, but also helping out with the counselors just to really see how a counselor teaches the merit badges. And then in 2018, I worked at the village, the Native American village, teaching fly fishing, archaeology, and Indian lore. And then in 2019, I was at the pool for aquatic staff. So I loved it on camp staff. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had. Some of my closest friends in life were all at Resica. And as you said earlier, you know when someone else isn't scouting. We all have different experiences outside of scouting, but the minute you meet someone in scouting, you're kind of like your brothers for life. Nothing's going to change that. And that's how it was up there. And just the environment is none other. You get to wake up in the morning and hopefully have a sense of pride that you're helping the younger generations of scouting.
I thought you were going to say you get to wake up in the morning and feel that 50 degrees Pocono air, and just freeze.
Well, that too.
My favorite part's, walking out of the morning shower, coming out just dripping wet, and it's like, oh no, it's 50 degrees out. I'm freezing.
Some mornings it felt good, and some other mornings you just wanted to crawl back up your bed and go back to sleep. So
I can't blame you, man. There's always those mornings where you're just like, oh no, I'm at camp.
yeah,
Oh no, I can't watch TV today. Darn. As someone who just said they love camp, and you have lifelong friends from camp. What would you say to someone who's looking to join camp staff? I know a lot of people who have seen me, and they see me at work from camp staff, and I'm probably the same with you, and have said, hey, that seems really interesting, but I'm nervous. Going to a place I'm not there very often, or making new friends. What's something you want to say to those people who are just on the fence, who don't know if they really want to do this?
So just a little backstory. As I said earlier, when I first got inducted, I was at Troop 1, and one of the merit badges I was taking was at ecology, and one of the staff members was Aiden Campbell. And I talked to him. I got to know him really well as my counselor, and I told him how much I loved Resica. I love it. Even though the walk from Deer Run to the parade field every morning wasn't too fun, but other than that, the environment was amazing. And he talked to me. He said it's fun. And sure enough, I was back that next summer. So if I would tell anyone that wants to join, I would definitely 100% recommend it. There's just no jobs out there other than camp staff. I would just 100% definitely recommend it. It is an amazing experience, and you will learn and meet so many new people.
Man, I hope this question doesn't start a war between camp staff members. But what's the best program area to work at?
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna be a little biased here. Definitely the Native American Village was awesome, right? I loved fly fishing. As soon as I knew I was going to be at the Nav, I went to Capella's, got my own fly fishing kit and everything. I had a blast. But once I got to the pool, aquatics kind of took over. So, my opinion, aquatic staff is the best program area. So, because you were at what program? You were at ATV.
I was ATV, yeah.
See, now if I was ATV staff, I would definitely say that's the best job. But I was aquatic, so I got to be a little biased to aquatic staff. So.
All right, so aquatics guys, you heard it here first. Pat Lynch is going to betray you to the ATV staff.
Well, yes.
So have fun with that, Pat. Sorry for all the hate mail. That's not my problem anymore.
It's all good.
As we're getting close to the end of this interview, I want to go through just some rapid fire questions. Ready?
Yep.
So these are just going to be, what is your favorite? And then I'm going to do a list, and you're going to just, as fast as you can, just give me your answer. Ready?
Gotcha.
All right, what's your favorite food?
Cheeseburgers.
What kind of cheese?
American or cheddar?
I had to ask that question. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Animal?
Deer or bear?
Any kind of bear?
Brown bear.
Movie?
13 Hours.
TV show?
Yellowstone.
You have a specific episode?
All of them. watch one episode, you're like, man, it's time to go to bed. You're like, nope, can't do it. You got to watch another one. So
sport?
Water polo, rugby, hockey, or football. Kind of one of those four.
Man, you're gonna betray your camp friends, and the other program areas, but not your sports, teammates. I like that. What about your favorite song?
I know this is probably gonna get a lot of hate mail, but definitely 100% country music. That is all I listen to. So,
specific song or just the genre?
The genre. I definitely 100% like Luke Combs, Morgan Wallen, and Florida Georgia Line. So.
What about a favorite person from history?
Favorite person from history? It's not a certain person. It's kind of everyone who created scouting. So whether that was Lord Robert Baden-Powell. Oh, man, I should know this. I'm going to choose this. Daniel Beard, Thomas Seaton. What was his name? I think it's Thomas Seaton, yeah. Any of those guys that created scouting. Because scouting's a big part of my life, and it's made me who I am today. So they're definitely favorite people from history.
And then what about your favorite patch?
All right. Well, if you don't know me already, you know that I absolutely love patches. Um, I am there every weekend at the patch auction trying to get my hands on patches I don't have. I've worked very hard in collecting patches. I have a few left that I do not have. So I love patches.
What's your favorite one, though? You know, you got a lodge flap or something personal?
My favorite one would probably have to be the Flaming Turtle because that's when I got inducted in. That was the standard flap.
Just the standard flap?
Yep. So
I can't blame you. I like this patch. I know it gets a lot of hate, but
and there's no more. You can't get any more. They're gone.
Oh, they're hard to find.
Yeah.
So then we're gonna end this off with 5. You know, we're gonna call them lighthearted questions with quotes because you know whatever you say is probably gonna get some backlash from one of your friends. So number 1, does pineapple belong on pizza?
Absolutely, pineapple belongs on pizza.
I thought you were gonna say not, and I got very nervous for a second, Pat.
Nope, 100% belongs on pizza. Sorry, guys, but it does.
Is McDonald's better than Burger King?
McDonald's is better than Burger King, yes.
Every single time?
Yes. They got the Big Mac. Can't really beat the Big Mac.
I thought you were gonna say the McRib. You know, that's a fun sandwich.
I've never had that.
Oh, man, you're missing out. What about Coke? Is Coke better than Pepsi?
Coke.
Coke is better than Pepsi?
Coke is better than Pepsi, yes.
Is cake better than ice cream, though?
Cake is better than ice cream, yes.
Oh, man, I'm gonna call you out right now and say you're wrong, because why would they make ice cream cake then?
Well, I was just going to say, like, do you consider ice cream cake or ice cream?
It's cake. Clearly, cake was not good enough, so they had to add ice cream to make it actually good. Only answer.
I think cake's still better.
And lastly, should you bite or lick ice cream, like in a cone?
So I feel like this is more personal. You should definitely lick your ice cream, but when I was little, I would always bite it, and I would get a weird feeling in my front teeth, and it just, it would freak me out. So you gotta lick the ice cream. you gotta lick the ice cream. So.
Hey, and with that said, that is all of our questions. Pat, we want to thank you for being here and taking some time to talk with us. You know, get a good interview in. Hopefully, we can do this another time and revisit some of these answers and see what you say in the future. Is there anyone you want to shout out? Anything you want to talk about real quick before we go?
Like I said earlier, I truly want to thank all the 2021 chapter chiefs, all the other chapter officers, LEC, and advisors for truly all their hard work and dedication towards Lodge. And let's bring that same energy and dedication to this year, and let's make 2022 the best Lodge year that Unami's ever had. I want to thank you and Reese. Thank you for having me on this. This is definitely something I can look back to from future years now, looking back. Keep up the hard work with history. I know you guys have definitely thrived from when you first started. And I think a lot of people enjoy listening to all the other podcasts. And thank you again for having me. I appreciate it. And I'm excited for what 2022 is going to bring. So.
All right. Well, with that being said, I'm going to look right in the camera, and anyone watching, I hope you're freaked out now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening from wherever you are. We appreciate you guys, and we will see you next time. Bye.